Known as the child star of the 50s, legendary actress Carol Lynley has sadly passed away of a heart attack at the age of 77 back in 2019. Carol rose to fame when Hollywood had just become aware of the growing teen audience. The actress worked alongside other big celebrities like Sandra Dee, Sue Leon, and Tuesday Weld, who contributed to the creation of the first teen movies ever made. Continue watching to find out some shocking facts about Carol Lynley during her career. Her father disowned her since she was 2 years old. Carol Lynley was born Carol Ann Jones on February 13, 1942, in the center of New York City. Her father was an Irish immigrant and her mother originated from England. Carol had to go through all the struggles that immigration came with. Things just got worse when her parents divorced. Her father decided to abandon the family, and her mother had no choice but to work as a waitress to make ends meet. These struggles continued until Carol was offered to model for different brands and magazines. This eventually made Carol the family's primary income source. She was called the Coca-Cola Girl by people for many years. The modeling portfolio Carol built as a child would soon lead her to perform on stage and act on small projects until she appeared on Broadway. What made the public like her so much was her attractive feline blue eyes. Carol started to build her professional career and took the stage name Carol Lynley. She was 6 years old at the time, and most of her decisions were made by her mother, who was sort of her manager. By the time she was 10 years old, she became a successful child model. Carol eventually started working for the Sears and Roebuck department store located in New York City, and later went on to become known as the Coca-Cola Girl all across the United States. She had to change her stage name 2 times to become an actress. When she got older, Carol tried to avoid modeling and focus more on acting. During the shift of her career, she discovered that she wasn't the only one using the name Carol Lynley in the entertainment industry. The other entertainer was much more famous than her, which would make Carol's chances of blowing up as an actress less likely. So that's why Carol later changed her last name to Lynley. As soon as she turned 15, she started appearing in juvenile roles on Broadway, which were broadcast in early anthology television. Despite her efforts of avoiding modeling, it was the #1 thing that made her the most amount of money. So at the time she was appearing on Broadway, she also modeled for popular magazines like Life, Cosmopolitan, and 17. In her mid-teens, Carol also appeared in numerous TV commercials for a toothpaste brand and hair dye. By getting such massive popularity, she started doing guest star appearances in TV shows. Her very first guest appearance was in Alfred Hitchcock Presents, in the 1957 show called The Young One, directed by Robert Altman. In the episode, she played a rebellious teenage girl who did anything in her power to escape her controlling aunt. New York Times threw her in the limelight. The New York Times reviewer praised Carol's performance when she was working alongside a young actor named James MacArthur. The reviewer described both of them as charming actors that had unimaginable talent. This would soon lead Carol into the limelight and lead her to take a reprise of her earliest Broadway play in the 1959 film Blue Denim. Here she portrayed a naive teenage girl who accidentally falls pregnant. She faces the consequences of confronting her family about it and ending up having an illegal abortion. The main difference between the film and the play it was based on was that in the play, the teenage girl decides to keep the baby rather than abort it. Carol graduated from high school the same year she won a Golden Globe Award. Her performance in Blue Denim got Carol nominated for a Golden Globe Award for the title of the Most Promising Newcomer. During that same year, Carol graduated with a high school diploma at the School for Young Professionals located in New York. After that, Carol decided not to enter college at all and just continue her acting career, portraying troubled teens in her upcoming films. As she got older, she had to gradually shed her wholesome image and represent a more mature woman in the early 60s. Film studios began giving Carol more grown-up roles, and she eventually appeared in the 1961 film called Return to Peyton Place. Here she acted as the writer of a scandalous novel, revealing her town's darkest secret. The character is also in love with a publisher that helps her succeed in her master plan of exposing her town. The film got some pretty great reviews, but the sequel of the film was not a success and didn't do anything to boost up her acting career. Carol then went on to appear in the 1963 film called Under the Yum Yum Tree, which was considered one of the most irritating sexual movies of the 60s. The film talked about a virgin college student living in a block apartment in New York who was convinced to work with a lecherous landlord, played by actor Jack Lemmon. The movie received a lot of criticism, but Carol would make it up for viewers by appearing in The Cardinal alongside Tom Tryon. But the film that gained her the most recognition was Bunny Lake is Missing, released in 1965. It was also considered as Otto Preminger's best late films. In the film, Carol played a single mom whose 4-year-old child mysteriously disappears. Because the character was supposed to be from London, Carol had to make her British accent as convincing as possible. Her ability to pull this off was quite impressive and gave her a lot of appraisals. The cast of the film included many other great actors of the time, such as Noel Coward, Laurence Olivier, and Anna Massey. Carol's appearance in the film was even commented on by Cinema Magazine, which called her an inspiring, charming beauty. Carol posed nude for Playboy magazine. Right after being part of such a successful film, Carol decided to release a set of photographs of herself, where she was completely nude. The photos were later published in Playboy magazine. Right after that, she started a romantic relationship with a famous broadcaster called David Frost. In the late 60s, the quality of the films that she would appear in started to decline. This led Carol to become less in demand in the film industry. However, she continued to appear in countless films such as Once You Kiss a Stranger, The Shutter Room, and more. Carol Lynley made one of her last appearances on TV in 2003, a movie there called A Light in the Forest, and announced her retirement soon after. She sadly passed away on September 3, 2019 due to a heart attack in her home in California. Well, that's a wrap up for this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to hit the subscribe button as we post videos like this every single day. Thank you for watching, stay safe, keep on being awesome, and we'll see you in the next video.